Can't stand it for another day. Ain't gonna live my life this way. A cold sweat, my fists are clenching. I stomp, stomp, stomp. The idiot convention. Oh, are we rolling? Oh shit, we're rolling? Oh. What is up, you guys? Welcome to Will Drum for Food, the rantings of an over-caffeinated and perhaps a little intoxicated madman. After all, I live in Wisconsin, and brandy is, it's kind of like the state drink. From what I remember correctly of my days managing a liquor store. Yeah, I used to manage a liquor store. That was a rock and roll job. From what I understand, in Wisconsin, we actually drink more brandy than the rest of the nation, all 49 states combined. So, cheers. I'm telling you, man, you put a little brandy in coffee and it perks it right up. Woo! All right, so I am in the drum cave. Got the softbox light set up. This is an experiment, so I'm actually using this video as a bit of an experiment to see what it looks like down here. See what kind of adjustments I need to make. But today is the question and answer video, and it's actually not Monday as I record this. This is Friday, hence the coffee and the brandy. I gotta work Monday, so I'm not gonna be able to record this on my Monday morning like I usually do. So let's get started. The first question comes from Uzi Boo 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 Doo Doo. He wants to know. He has like 30 questions. I'm gonna pick what I think is the best question because I actually got a lot of questions. If you could go on tour with any band, alive or dead, who would it be? I had to put a little thought into this because obviously my first inclination was to say, oh, Led Zeppelin. I would love to go out and play drums for Led Zeppelin. But I'm not the right guy for that job at all. I'm the wrong guy to fill John Bonham's shoes. So I thought about this a little bit. Actually, this is going to surprise some people, but I'm going to say Motley Crue. I would love to go on a road with Motley Crue. I don't know if I could survive, but man, I don't know. It just, you take Motley Crue in their heyday, it looked like they had a lot of fun, and I like to have fun. As you can see by the fact that I'm drinking brandy in my coffee. Wow. Sometimes I got a problem. I just do. I got a problem. This is actually all just a cry for help. Sad person. I'm just awful. I'm just terrible. I'm kidding. All right, drummer 101. If there was any instrument in the world that you could choose from that isn't drums, what would it be? Now, everybody would probably say, oh, this is great, actually. Everybody would think, oh, the singer, because singers get all the chicks or whatever. Well, singer's not an instrument, first of all. Those guys are just talented. They didn't work at that. Well, maybe they did a little bit. For the most part, that's just raw talent to be a singer. The charisma and all that stuff I just don't have that. Guitar, you think, well, guitar players get all the chicks, blah, blah, blah. So I'd want to play guitar. I don't want to play guitar. Guitar players are douchebags. What I would really like, you guys are going to laugh at this one, bagpipes. Dead serious. I love the bagpipes. I'm serious. I've made the request several times to family members, whoever would listen to me. I want bagpipes at my funeral. When I die, I want a frickin' pipe band. I want at least 2 pipers with a snare drummer. That's really all I want out of my death. That's it. That's my last request. I want 2 bagpipers and a snare drummer at my funeral. I love the bagpipes. I don't know what it is about it. It is the most obnoxious musical. And gosh, there was a comedian, he did a bit. But let's see what happens if I blow into this. Let's see what happens if I blow into this vacuum cleaner. This is a really interesting question. This is from David. I don't know how you pronounce his last name. David, the guy with the freaking mannequin head in all his videos. It freaks the crap out of me. David, is it Cervello? I'm sorry, David, if I'm pronouncing this wrong. Actually, a really interesting question. What song would you absolutely never cover because the song makes you sick, but you had to cover it because you were opening up for a famous band and they love that song? This is pretty simple. Well, nobody loves this song. No famous band would love this song, so this is a scenario that would never happen. But it's Brown Eyed Girl. Flat out, Brown Eyed Girl. I played Brown Eyed Girl. Did I say Brown Eyed Girl? I didn't mean Brown Eyed Girl. I meant Mustang Sally. I get them mixed up because they're both such horrible songs. I put Mustang Sally on my no playlist. Flat out, whenever I play out with a band, I told them I'm not playing Mustang Sally. If you want to play Mustang Sally, you can find somebody else. Bring somebody else out of the crowd to play drums. I will not play that song. That song makes me physically freaking ill. And no band worth a shit would actually request that their opening band would play that. Because it's just a terrible song. It's quite possibly maybe the worst song ever written. Nickelback did write a lot of bad songs, and you take Nickelback and then, man, there's just a lot of country songs that are probably worse. Yeah, I mean, Luke Bryan, every song, I don't know how he does it. It's like it defies the law of physics. It's like Sandy Koufax's Rising Fastball. The laws of physics are actually forbid this from happening. Every Luke Bryan song is worse than the one that came before it. I don't know how it's possible. You'd think sooner or later they would write a better song, but they didn't. Luke Bryan. Don't like Luke Bryan. So Luke Bryan might be on that list too. So we got Luke Bryan, anything by Luke Bryan, Country Girl, Shake It For, anything by Luke Bryan, Mustang Sally, freaking Wagon Wheel. Shoot me. That Darius Rucker song, it was actually kind of an okay song until that soulless human being Darius Rucker got a hold of it. You remember him from Hold My Hand. Want you to hold my hand. Mahoney the Blowfish. Well, he decided he was going to become a country singer, and he covered a song called Wagon Wheel from kind of like a bluegrassy type band called Old Crow Medicine Show. And it actually was an okay song until he got a hold of it and brought me. Oh, God, I just die a little inside. Every time, Wagon Wheel. I hate that song. This is from Stanley Lynch. Have you or will you ever be doing any Dream Theater Portnoy era, not Mangini era? I will say no, definitely not Mangini era. I've kind of talked about Dream Theater before. Incredible musicians, the musicianship on it, but I actually have a hard time listening to Dream Theater because of the singer. I don't like the singer. I don't like his voice. Dude, could you sing like just in a normal register for just a verse, but he's got to be up there all the time. So, like I said, I really liked first two Dream Theater albums. Actually, a lot of people won't remember there was an album before Images and Words with a different singer. I liked that album. I didn't like their singer. And then they got what's the guy's name? James LaBrie. They got him later on for Images and Words. But there is actually an album before Images and Words. I can't remember what the album is called, but it has a really cool instrumental on it called the Yitza Jam. Really cool song. I actually might consider covering that possibly. Or I might consider like covering like Pull Me Under, maybe Under a Glass Moon. That one might be a little over my head. So I'm gonna give that a maybe. I got a lot of other stuff on my plate that I'm gonna do first, but I'm gonna answer actually the second Uzi question. Name a cover that you haven't attempted yet, one that you've been afraid to try, your Mount Everest. Okay, I've actually done, for sure, what I would consider two Mount Everest covers. The first one was Rosanna, a song that I've been trying to get the groove down for, I've been obsessed with that groove 20 years. And actually this past fall was the first time I ever felt I could play that groove with any sort of competency. So I actually laid that down, and I'm I'm okay with how that cover turned out. The groove didn't sound like super stiff. I maybe overdid it a little bit on the ghost notes. I actually did a second what would be considered a Mount Everest cover, and that would be the song my winning cover for the beat competition, La Via Strangiato or La Via Spaghettio. I'm always leery of covering Rush songs because of my battles over the years on YouTube with Neil Peart fanboys. Like I said, I love Rush, I love Neil Peart. I hate Neil Peart fanboys. I hate them. They're unreasonable. They're just unreasonable. I said this before. They are like a cult, and the only thing in their eyes is Neil, and that's the only thing that exists in their world. And if you deviate from anything what Neil would do, they descend upon you like a pack of angry vultures. I've always been leery of doing Rush. You know, I decided, well, if I'm in this contest, like the sign says, go big or go home. So I went all in. I guess a cover that I really would like to do, that I'm still kind of working out, that Tool song. I was gonna say 25 or 6 to 4. That's not the song. I can't even think of the name of the song. It's all numbers. Yes, 46 and 2. Go back, edit all that out. None of that ever happened. Tool, 46 and 2. That right now is probably, that is definitely my Everest. Mount Everest. It's the mountain right there that I'm looking at. I had actually no plans of working on it. Song's freaking hard. Nathan likes drums. Who's your favorite drummer? This is gonna be a quick one. John Bonham. John Bonham. He is my favorite drummer. He's just my favorite. That's it. John Bonham's my favorite. I think I've answered that before, actually. Steve the drummer. Let's talk snare drums. Maple, steel, brass, 5, 6, 8 depth. Another question. Is the Black Beauty worth the money? Thoughts? Take care, man. Okay, let's talk snare drums. He wants to know what I use for snare drums, basically. Let's start with maple, steel, brass. I'm gonna go with my preferred material. It's actually none of those. You see it in most of my videos. I am using a snare drum made out of this in just about everything. So this is my 6.5 by 14. This is actually a 50th anniversary Ludwig LM402. So this is a Supraphonic. Now, a lot of people think this is a steel drum. It's actually not. This is made out of a material called Ludalloy. Ludalloy is a proprietary material by Ludwig. It's like a hybrid aluminum with some other metal. I'm not a metallurgist. I don't know what the hell's in it. I just know that this is not steel. It's not brass. It's more of an aluminum type, okay? It's what gives this particular snare drum its mojo. Now, if you're looking for that John Bonham sound or that Alex Van Halen sound, there is a YouTube channel called Spectrum VC or something like that. He's all about recording, and he even said his go-to snare drum in the studio, and this is my go-to snare drum, and it's not even my go-to snare drum, it is my go-to snare drum material, and that is the Ludalloy that the Ludwig metal snare drums are made out of. Now that would include both Supraphonics, so the 6.5, the LM402, and then the 5x14, the LM400, okay? And then that would include all the acrylites. They are all made out of this Ludalloy type metal. That is, to me, this is the sound. So if you look in almost all of my videos, I'm using a Ludalloy snare drum. Whether it be an acrylite, my 5x14 Supraphonic, or my 6.5x14 Supraphonic. Now, here's another thing with these drums. In order to get these drums to sing, in my opinion, this is strictly my opinion, I have tried all kinds of different heads on them. In my opinion, the way these drums sing the most would be the acrylites. The acrylites sing the most. I know you didn't ask about heads, but I'm telling you. The acrylites sing the most with a Remo Ambassador. So a medium weight Remo Ambassador head. I've tried Evans. I tried Evans with the G2 Generic, which is essentially like or the G1, I'm sorry. The G1 is essentially like their Ambassador. it doesn't have the same tonal qualities. You gotta use Remo heads on these Ludwig snare drums. I preach it. It's just something about that. It's something about these heads and this shell material. When you put a Remo head on it, it just sings. Now, on my 5x14, I actually have an Evans head. I know I said you shouldn't use Evans heads, but that one does have an Evans head. This particular one, which is my 6.5x14, I have a Remo Emperor coated head. And then I use an ambassador weight snare head with pure sound wires. That is how you get these snare drums to sing. I have people comment about my snare drum sound all the time. That is the secret to my snare. It's not like some magical tuning trick or anything like that. The secret to my snare drum sound is a Ludwig shelled Ludwig snare drum with a Remo head on it. Whether it be an ambassador or an Emperor with an ambassador weight head and pure sound wires. That's the key to these snare drums. Beats by Jay, how did you get started making videos on YouTube? What prompted you to throw the hat into the arena? I'm a freaking show off. I am a show off. And you can see these videos. I'm not shy by any means, and I just, man, what it was, literally, this is how I got started. I had bought my Vistalite kit, and I got it, and I was really frustrated with the sound I was getting out of it. Wasn't really happy with it. So I was trying some different tuning combinations, and I tuned up my Vistalite kit, and I stuck my iPhone. I didn't have a tripod or anything. I stuck my iPhone underneath one of the arms of my table saw to hold it up on a shelf over in that corner, and just pointed it towards my drum set. Played a drum solo, and just to hear some of the tuning. I actually uploaded it to YouTube so I could post a link on Vintage Drum Forum so some of those guys could check out the sound of the kit. The video just kind of took off. Got a lot of hits, got a lot of views. The second thing was, I just got a mixing board. I had an older Behringer mixing. I was buying a PA. I was putting a PA together for a band, some bands, just so I'd have a PA with some board and some mics and some drum mics and things of that nature. So one day I'm like, I'm gonna just go down. I see all these guys recording drum covers. I'm gonna record a drum cover, and I think the first, I'll put a link both to the Vistalite video and my first drum cover. My first drum cover, I did it on this drum set actually, when the levee breaks. It's not good. Sounds terrible. I got like I think I recorded it on with a multi-check program on my iPad actually. I threw like all kinds of reverb to try and get that Zeppelin stairway sound, that where they put the drum set in the stairwell to try to get that sound. And that's how I got started in this. And I stopped for a while because it was just before I bought this particular, I was just switching out my mixing boards. I bought this Behringer, the stage box with the wireless mixer, and I realized that I could do up to 18 tracks on this thing, and it's an interface, so I could do 18 tracks simultaneously and record. And I'd also bought a new laptop, so I was out of the game for a while. What got me back in was I got my Mac. I bought my Mac and I bought this thing. And I already had the drum mics, and I just set it up, and I think the first drum cover I did after I got back into this for about a year, I did a Dazed and Confused cover. So, Earl Bennett, here's a question. If you could have any drum kit and cymbals today, which drum kit and cymbals would you buy if money was no object? Be specific. Sizes, snare, types of cymbals, etc., even hardware. Okay, I would probably get a Ludwig, because I'm a Ludwig guy. I would probably get a Ludwig Legacy kit. The maple poplar and mahogany. Did the Legacy kits have mahogany on the interior ply? I'm not sure, but they're 3 plies with reinforcement rings. Basically the same drums that Ludwig made back in the 50s and 60s without all of the quality control issues. Because if you've ever owned one of those kits, if you've ever played with one of those kits, they can have some serious quality control issues. They were just turning out, at the time Ringo was big, I mean, they were turning out so many drum kits they possibly couldn't keep up the quality. So I would probably, but there's a mojo about those kits. But the sound of those kits, it would be probably either that or Rogers, like a Rogers holiday kit. You know, that era of Rogers drums. Probably, I'm gonna say there's two kits. There would be, okay, there's two kits. There would be a Legacy. Yeah, there's money's no object here. All right, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get a Legacy. Ludwig Legacy, a green sparkle with 26-inch kick drum, 10 by 14 rack, 16 by 16 floor, 18 by 18 floor, with nothing but Peisty giant beat cymbals and John Bonham sizes. So 24, 6, what did he use? A 24 and 18 and a 20-inch crash with 15-inch sound edge. Cymbals with a 1960s. Nah, you know what? I'll keep this snare drum. So this is my John Bonham setup with the 6.5 by 14 LM402. That would be drum kit number one. Since money's no object, I would also get a Rogers holiday kit, okay? I would probably do 20-inch kick drum with a 12-inch floor, like a 10 by 12 floor tom, and then a rack tom, and then a 14-inch floor tom with a Dynasonic, a woodshell Dynasonic. I've never played one. I've always wanted to play one of those drums. So that's what, if you don't know what a woodshell Dynasonic is, if you can get one in the 60s, you're going to be spending a lot of money because they go for a lot of money. So that's probably what I would get. And then with the cymbals, I'd probably go with some vintage. Yeah, I'd probably maybe go with some old, because it's more of a lighter kit. I'd probably go with some old, like, Zildjian Ks, some old ones, you know, some Turkish ones if possible. And then with hardware, I'm not gonna go vintage hardware. I'm gonna go all modern hardware. Bass drum pedals, I'd probably stick with the Tama Iron Cobras. I just really like these pedals. As far as hi-hat stand goes, I was probably the DW5000 or DW9000. I am a fan of those hi-hat stands. So I hope that was specific enough for you. Drumman190 wants to know what my favorite cover I have done so far. My latest one is always my favorite, but if I would have to actually pick one, probably actually Led Zeppelin Rock and Roll. I'm really happy with the drum sounds I got out of that, and I did that ending solo pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. Next up, AR Drummer. How many drum kits do you currently own, and how I should have wrote this answer down before I started this video. How many drum kits do you currently own, and approximately how many have you bought and sold throughout the years? All right, the first part of that question, that's an easy one to answer. I got this one. I have my Slinger Lane kit, which will probably make an appearance in some videos, certainly, so that's 2. I have my Ludwig Vista Light kit, that's 3. I have a white Rogers Big R kit, which is actually at a friend's house in Milwaukee right now, so that's 4. I have a PDP kit that is actually in another rehearsal studio, a PDP, Mexican-made PDP kit. If you ever get your hands on one of those, not the ones made in China, but that for a period of about 4 or 5 years, DW had their PDP drums made in Ensenada, Mexico, I think. They are awesome drums. They are killer drums, and they're reasonably priced. So that's 5. And then I have my E-kit, my Guitar Hero drums. I don't care about those. And then I have a ton of snare drums that I'm not even going to begin to count. How many kits have I bought and sold throughout the years? Approximately. I don't even know how to answer that. That's a lot. I do have one that I let get away, like every dumb kid does, that I regret. I regret to this day. This is my very first drum set, was a Ludwig Mod Orange. I think it was downbeats. Maybe it was no, you know what? It was Hollywood sizes. It was just a downbeat configuration, which means Hollywoods are, if you don't know a lot about Ludwig drums, but downbeat, it's configuration and sizes, and it was actually a 22, but it only had one mounted tom, which makes me think why it was a downbeat, but it wasn't a downbeat. It did have a 22-inch bass drum. But similar to what John Densmore played, but I think I think he played the downbeat, so I think he had the 20. What's up, guys? So I'm here at work editing the video, and I just realized that I didn't get the whole thing down. So I apologize if I missed your question. If I did, just leave it down below, and we'll get to it next time. But Adam, to finish answering your questions is, I have owned so many drum sets that I can't even count. I did go into detail about how I got into the flipping market, and well, that's a whole nother story. So I apologize if I missed your question. And I will see you guys next time.